Bioware's final conclusion to the Mass Effect series, Mass Effect 3, was released a little over a month ago and had one of the biggest fan reactions in the history of gaming. Unfortunately, it wasn't good. Tens of thousands rallied together to object to the ending of the series. A few even went so far as to create very sophisticated forums and sites to help organize all those who object. Today I'm talking to Kate, a representative from HoldTheLine.com and RetakeMassEffect.org. How are you today, Kate?
I'm good. How are you?
Absolutely excellent. Now, start off, how did HoldTheLine.com and RetakeMassEffect.org really get started?
Well, the two sites actually started as completely separate groups. Retake.org was just a group of people who kind of got to know each other over Twitter and banded together because we felt like we could do more and we wanted to do more for the retake movement. What we began to notice over time was that we really needed sort of a central resource point, a point that people could go to catch up on the news, to find out about initiatives and things like that. Mm-hmm. So we created RetakeMassEffect.org, and when we began to start looking into forums, we completely by accident came across HoldTheLine.com. Signed up there, spent a couple days checking it out, and said to ourselves, hey, this is really great. So we emailed the administrator of HoldTheLine.com, asked him if he was interested in working with, and fortunately for us, he felt as strongly as we did about the movement and saw that we could do great things together.
How exactly do they relate to Mass Effect 3? Because we touched on a little bit, but for those who aren't familiar with exactly what's going on, how do they relate to it, the game?
Well, a lot of people were disappointed in the endings of Mass Effect 3, pretty much the last 10 minutes or so of the game. And they took their disappointment to the internet and started to try to get that across to Bioware to see if there was anything that could be done about it. And the movement grew and grew and grew and started to become a need for it to be a little bit more organized than just everyone randomly tweeting Bioware or posting things on Facebook. So various groups, including our own, started different sites to try and help with that. And that's pretty much what HTL has done since its beginning. It's really, like I said, a central resource point where people can go, they can find out the latest news, they can catch up on the news that they missed, they can throw out ideas for initiatives or discuss current ones that we're planning. But ultimately, it's also a place for the community to have fun, and I think that's something that people have appreciated, a place to just get to talk to other people who feel the same way that they do and know that they're not alone. It's almost a support group in sort of.
Now, you mentioned before that it really started off pretty small, just a few people talking over Twitter. When did things really start to pick up for you as working within these sites? When did it just go from just 5 or 6 people to now the thousands that are involved?
It's difficult to really point out a specific moment in time where HTL took off. It kind of has just constantly kept growing. One thing that's for sure is that it seems that the harder the Bioware forums clamp down on people talking about their displeasure with the ending, the more people look for someone else to talk about that with and subsequently join HTL. I think it's really just the sense of community that has drawn people to our forums, and we're the only forum at this point in time that's really established to the point that we are, so it's just been taking off from there. We haven't had to do much. People just came.
Mm-hmm. Now, both these sites, again, I mentioned before, are very, very sophisticated. They offer a lot of different resources. It's really amazing what you guys offer. Now, with this organization like this, how many people are really involved in running the site, and what is involved in doing that type of process?
The amount of people running RetakeMassEffect.org and HoldTheLine.com changes on an almost daily basis. Every day we have people sending us emails with amazing ideas on initiatives or things that they can contribute. And we have a sort of system that we've laid out so far for managing the site itself. To kind of break it down, we basically have our administrator who is in charge of system management, web development. He basically describes his job as keeping the lights on, so he keeps the site running. After that, we have the HTL staff, which is the organizers of RetakeMassEffect.org after our merger with HTL. They're people who are very present in the community. They're well known with our users, with people on Twitter, on the Bioware forums, and other such sites. And their job is to help organize, run, and promote the initiatives. They keep up to date on the news, and they add the content to the site itself. After them, we have the HTL PR team, led by myself, who are basically responsible for anything to do with public relations. But we also contribute to the same duties that the staff do. We also have the creative team, who are responsible for all of our amazing artwork. They designed the logo for HTL and have contributed a lot to the page and to the movement itself. The editorial team are members who wanted to do more, who showed a really strong ability to write really nice things and support the movement that way. So we've got them working anytime we need to make a statement about HTL. Or right now we're currently working on developing the HTL newsletter, so it's easier for people who may not want to browse the forums to find everything in one place. They're in charge of that. After that, we've got an amazing team of moderators who are just volunteers from the community who are in charge of keeping the forums clean. Yeah, we have a really great community, so they don't have to do a lot in terms of moderating abusive posts, but they keep the forums clean. After that, there's the two more groups. We've got the team leaders, who are representatives from other groups that have approached HTL and expressed an interest in working with us, things like Twitter or Bioware forums. And last but not least, we have the newly created Special Tasks group, who are members who have expressed an interest in starting an open game project. They're starting to develop their own science fiction game that has the immersive feel that we've all come to love with Mass Effect. So I look forward to seeing what they get done on that.
That is phenomenal. Now, you've described the multi-layers of a corporation you've been able to establish here. It's really, I got to say, quite impressive.
It's practically a second full-time job for some of us.
It really does seem like that. Now, considering you have such reach and you've been working so hard to give these resources to the community, I know you've been working on it, but have you been able to really set down some estimates of how much reach your organization has? It's a difficult thing to ask, but I think it's important, just so we know that gaming outlets, when they claim this movement is a vocal minority, that we actually know how many people are involved and how frequently they are involved.
That's a really difficult question to answer because so many people are spread out across so many different platforms. The largest number that we've seen in any one given place would be the 65,000 people that have signed up to answer the poll on the Bioware forums. And I don't think that that's at all a fair representation of just how large this movement is, because even if we say, okay, yes, there's only 65,000 people, and we go ahead and let our detractors call us a vocal minority, it's not safe for EA or Bioware to assume that the people who haven't voiced their dissent are happy with the ending of Mass Effect 3, and I think it's a very dangerous assumption for them to make. In terms of HTL's reach itself, that's a little bit easier to estimate, and I think it would be pretty fair to say that because our members are active in almost every other platform that Retake has a presence on, our reach is pretty much the reach of the movement. We've had a lot of visits to the site. We have right now about 1,600 registered users and have an average of about anywhere to 75 to 100 lurkers on the forums, and that just keeps going up every day. So starting to get bigger and bigger.
Absolutely. Now, within the organization, what initiatives have been started in the past since this game has been out for a month?
HTL is actually responsible for a lot more initiatives than people realize because we don't really claim anything. We just give people a place to discuss their initiatives and start planning them. One that we are directly responsible for, it was handled by the staff, is actually the fan testimonies video, where we got approximately 30 or so submissions from people who answered 3 questions, sent us information to showcase their custom shepherds, which is a huge part of Mass Effect 3 and the other 2 games as well. And we basically wanted to give Bioware a chance to hear from their fans, besides the anonymity and the lack of emotion that is social networking. And so far that video has over 18,500 views on YouTube, so we're quite happy with that.
Now, again, I'm talking to Kate, a representative from HoldTheLine.com and RetakeMassEffect.org. We're just talking about the fan testimony video, which will have a link right underneath this video. Continue, Kate. Sorry to interrupt.
That's all right. We have quite a few other initiatives. One of our members created the Retake character tributes video. He did a really funny video where he voiced the different characters from Mass Effect saying Retake Mass Effect. It's just a lighthearted thing to help raise some morale. We're also responsible for the War Assets website, where you can go and pop in your information, and using your internet service provider's location, it will tag you on a map to show how active Retake is where in the world.
Oh, wow.
We organized the second letter campaign to Bioware. That was done at the beginning of last month. We also, one of our followers on Twitter created an amazing N7 avatar maker where you can pop in your Twitter icon or your Facebook profile picture, and it will put a little N7 banner down the bottom. So we've started having people use that to make their avatars and to show a sense of unity across the social media. One of the more known campaigns of Retake was the Cupcake Campaign, which actually has its origins on HTL. The initial thread was started on our forums, and once it gained enough support, that was pulled to the rest of the community through the BSN, the Bioware forums, and it took off from there, and didn't go exactly the way we'd hoped, what with Bioware giving the cupcakes away, but it's still something that we're extremely proud of.
Absolutely. Now, we mentioned before, the game has been out for over a month. You guys have been working on a lot of great initiatives, a lot of community initiatives. What are some of your members working on currently, something you can talk about, and maybe something that's kind of in the works that's going to be more long-term? Can you tell us anything about that?
Yeah, all of our initiatives are actually in full public view on HoldTheLine.com. We don't keep anything from the community. That's something that HTL is very strong stance on. The largest initiative that we have going right now is what we call Turn On, Turn Off Bioware, and that's set to launch on the 28th of April. And the point behind it is basically to show EA that we're still interested in the single player. A lot of people haven't been playing because it's just too hard on them. They're still too emotionally upset over the ending of the game, and they don't want to have to face it again. And the concern is that if people don't play, EA will tell Bioware not to bother developing any further single-player DLC. There's not enough interest. So we've organized the community on the 28th for a set amount of time. As many people as possible are going to turn on their game and launch the single-player campaign to show EA and Bioware that we do still care. Afterwards, there will be another set period of time where we will turn off our game and refuse to play the single-player campaign to show them that they do stand to lose quite a bit if they continue to alienate their fan base. So besides that, there's several smaller campaigns that are in the works right now. We're currently polling the community for interest on organizing a boycott of either EA or Bioware, with the understanding that a boycott of EA would also boycott Bioware. Still a little split on that right now, but it's still in the works. We also have another letter campaign, though this one will be a little bit different. It's going to be aimed at EA and not Bioware. And it's going to be personal letters once again, but also to show them the business side. We plan to include stock charts and articles and things to show them that this isn't just a bunch of angry fans. This is people who buy their product and who they want to continue buying their product, and they need to do what they can to make sure that that happens. Other than that, HTL tries to do a lot of things to just have fun, like I've said already. So we've got some internal contests going on. We recently held a caption contest, which was a great success. It was hilarious. I spent many hours at my computer laughing so hard my sides hurt. We were very generously given some Xbox Live codes that we gave away as prizes, and it was a great success. We're looking forward to more like that.
That's great. A lot of great stuff to work on. Now, the group you mentioned before, it's very important that you have consensus on any of your initiatives. Like you're saying, the boycott issue, you're even a little split on that now. What are some of the difficulties of trying to gain a consensus when you have so many different members who are conveying their own perspectives on every little way? Because it is a very specific sort of game, and they all have very specific needs. Some players really want a more aggressive approach to EA, while others just kind of want to sit back and see what they've already done. How do you find consensus with such an eclectic group?
For the most part, people understand that we're not out to hurt either EA or Bioware. We're just out to make a point. So there are people who think that we should be taking a more aggressive approach, and they're free to pitch their ideas on HTL, and if there's enough support, then they go with it from there. Our community is really amazing. They just govern themselves so well that we haven't really felt a need to step in. The downside to the way that things work is that when you get an initiative that is a hot topic that is very split within the community, as the hosts and the people who run Hold the Line, we often are the ones caught directly dealing with the backlash over it, if there's any. Mm-hmm. But that, fortunately, hasn't really happened so far. We have not had to step in, and we don't ever want to have to step in because that's just so contrary to what we stand for.
Mm-hmm. Final word, you are a representative for the group. You're trying to convey the feelings of all these people who really, really care about it, and you've obviously had a lot of chances to communicate with them via the site. This is going to be the first time they hear your voice. Is there anything you'd like to say, anything you'd like to tell your members, and anything you'd like to tell Bioware or EA?
To my members, the people who have supported HTL from day one, the people who are just joining up now, you guys are amazing. You're the reason that we have the strength to do this. Like I said earlier, sometimes this is like a second full-time job for the people who run the site, and it's truly humbling, the amount of support that we've received from people, and it keeps us going long after the coffee pot's empty. So just keep it up. We won't give up as long as you don't. HTL is not planning on going anywhere, and we'll see what we can do with the site even once Retake Mass Effect is over. To EA and Bioware, we thank you guys for listening. We know that this isn't easy on you either. A lot of the Bioware employees have been really great with the way they talk to us and making us feel like they're listening. We're cautiously optimistic about the way things are going right now, but we just truly hope that they'll do what's right by their fans and by their amazing game.
Absolutely wonderful. I'm talking to Kate, a representative from two great websites that have rallied a lot of members together who are part of the Retake movement. Those websites again are, Kate?
RetakeMassEffect.org and HoldTheLine.com, so be sure to check them out.
Thank you very much. All the information that we've talked about within the interview will be available underneath, so if you want to access a quick way to all of these great initiatives that they talked about, they're just a click away. I'm Andy Borkowski from Pure Sophistry. You have a great day.